Hey guys, Funkymusic here. Today I want to go over some of the questions that I get about my restoration druid. Looks like we got somebody attacking me while we're making this video, but whatever. If we die, we'll die. Anyways, so questions about my UI video. First thing I want to say about my UI video that I probably should have emphasized more in that video. If you guys, hopefully, I'll put a link to the UI video that I currently use and a link to this in there. Is if you're running any add-ons previously when you download mine and put them into your folders and do everything in the video, if you have anything else, any other add-ons that you're currently running, take all of those, put them in make another folder, copy and paste, or cut and paste into another folder, put it wherever on your desktop, wherever, and remove everything in the add-ons folder and then install mine. I see a lot of issues with people. A lot of the issues that people have are from not doing that to begin with. So, but just go ahead and let's get some questions out of the way that I usually get. So after a while of having your UI, I noticed that the text appears in the Atlas loot table to tell you that the stats of the gear that the boss drops from the boss is way too small and impossible to read. Any way to fix this? So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Atlas loot. You're going to go to options, and here you can reset everything. You can change the scale. You can change everything you want here. That would probably be how you would fix that as far as Atlas Loot goes. So, yeah. Next question. Hey man, how do you set up the buff bar on the left side of your screen? Great question. I get this asked a lot, a whole bunch. So you're going to go to bars, left, and this will set up your right sidebar, your left sidebar. You can also change this orange bar right here. There should be an orange bar you'll see down here on my screen as well. You can enable, disable those from there. So good way, just so you guys know, that's where the bars are for those. If you want to enable them, disable them, what he's talking about, just real quick, are these bars here. They fold in and out. If you want to use those, you can. So that's what that's about. I guess that quite a bit, actually. So next one. Funky, I don't know how to move the casting bar. It's coexisting with my action bars. Well, the casting bar will be right here. You're going to go to player, and you can move it, change the height, change the width, change the value. Mine's currently right here, right? But you'll be able to change it, do whatever you want, change colors, change the text, change the border for it. Everything is still under /LUI for this. So, easy thing to fix, should be easy to move around. You might just have to play with it, keep moving things around till you get it where you like it. Hey, I play Resto Shaman. When I use Riptide, a tidal wave icon appears up in the middle of my screen. Any way to edit this? I can't find this add-on setting. So what this add-on setting is see if I can get it to proc here, is actually Event Alert. Now what Event Alert does for me is it shows clear casting in the middle of my screen, and it's a good way for me. There you go. It's clear casting. Let me show to make me show that I have clear casting up, right? So if you want to change this is another one I get a question quite a bit about, is you're going to go to /EA space options. This will bring you up to Event Alert options. You can disable it from here. You can change it. You can move where you want to put it at. You could show or hide it. You could change it plays a sound. I have my sound turned off. A lot of stuff you can do from there from the buff, but it's just a nice add-on to have so you can clearly see where the buffs are. Important buffs, rather important debuffs that a boss may have or something like that. Also for me, the reason why I keep it right directly in the middle is if I'm kind of looking at my grid and looking at my player at the same time, and let's say there's a lot going on, I'm in a group of players, I see that icon and I know my player my character is right underneath that icon, so it kind of gives me whereabouts am I in the group of people and stuff. So it's nice to have for that, I guess, as well. If you guys watched my video on where I keep my eyes when I'm healing and stuff, whenever I see something proc there, usually Sunder Armor, anything important, Sunder Armor I believe will pop there, Fairy Fire, Clear Casting procs there, but Tidal Waves for Shaman will always proc there. So yeah, if you want to move that, by all means do. Dear Funkymusic, I've been trying to set up your UI, but something has bothered me. I don't know what's wrong, and you don't comment on any of your videos. I'm mad with the UI that looks like a picture below, and I have no install button when I log into my character. Again, guys, I think I did end up replying to this and seeing his image. Again, this has to do with your UI. If you do not clear out what was previously in your add-ons folder, this stuff like this can happen because my add-ons, LUI specifically, will conflict with other certain add-ons if LUI is not first installed for whatever reason. That's just the way it works. I don't know why, but like I said, again, clear out your add-ons folder, copy and paste them into another folder just in case, or you want to reuse some of those add-ons. Once you install mine, you can go right back and just copy and move them back over. But make sure LUI is in there first and installed. Hey Funky, can you please go into more detail about Forte Exorcist? The reason I'm asking you about it shows mine and other buffs as well. Example, when I play Mage, it shows every class debuff on my spell timers, which is annoying. Now what he's talking about here is, let's go ahead and close this out. You're going to go to FX Options, Space Options, right? Now what he's talking about here is the spell timer, okay? You can track your spell timers, as in, like, if I cast Moonfire on something or Insect Swarm, it'll start counting down until that timer runs off. The boss. Great way to track your dots. There's other programs out there to do that as well. But if you want to disable those, you should be able to come here and change what you want it to show. You should only be able to, you can change the custom so it only shows certain things. It only shows your spells, your cooldowns, raid debuffs, debuffs on only me. You could change it to whatever you want to do, but that's all here in Forte Exorcist. Also, again, real quick, if you want to unlock and lock Forte Exorcist to move things around, that's my bar right here that you guys see. That's my cooldown timer bar. That's the only one I currently run. There's a lot of cool things you can do with this. Warlocks, there's a lot of cool stuff, even messages, sounds, talent spot. There's a whole bunch of stuff in Forte Exorcist if you guys want to play around with it. I used to run quite a bit of stuff in here, now not so much. I kind of just run the cooldown timer, but hopefully that answers that question about Forte Exorcist. I believe I also have a video set up for Forte specifically if you guys want to check that out. I'll leave a link in the description below. Let's see here. How to turn off those spiral lines for HP mana on the center of your screen. It just gets in my way all the time. Now what this is kind of like weak auras, okay? But it's called Ice HUD. What it does is it puts your health bar right here and your mana bar, or vice versa, mana bar right here and your health bar right here right next to your character. Now I currently have this disabled. It was something that I did run in retail, and it is still part of my UI package. I find that people do like to use that quite a bit. Rather than this UI, or they like to use something where they can track their mana a little bit more effectively. I've seen people drag it over here. I've seen where I used to have it in retail, kind of was sort of like right here, but I've also put it next to my grid so I could see what mana I'm at. But now that I'm running grid 2, when I'm setting my threshold for low mana, I have it set to 20%. When I get to 20%, this little bar around my grid here will turn a dark blue, letting me know I'm low on mana. And I will instantly go ahead and cast Innervate, pop a potion, whatever. And I can also tell who else in the raid is very, very low. So, but yeah, just disable Ice HUD in your add-ons before you log into the game. You know, when you first log in, before you take a character and log in, click the add-ons thing, go down to Ice HUD, disable everything for Ice HUD. How does your mini-map work? Mine straight up doesn't. The only way it works is to disable LUI, and I really don't want to do that. Okay, so what the mini map is right here, this little mini map up here in the right hand corner, you can just click this. This is a button, believe it or not. You can go ahead and click this, see how it disappears, and brings it right back. This also works for removing this little tool, the toolbar up here for your character, spells, and all that stuff. This one here is for Pally Power. Obviously, I don't have that on for this character, but this would be for, for Pally Power. So for those of you who are using Pally Power, and I have it, I believe it's in my packaged add-on, this will control your Pally Power. So those are buttons up there, guys. They do control stuff, so that's why it doesn't show up. Because when you default load in, it'll say enabled, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, when you first install this, you have to click here and get the minimap to pop up. So just FYI, that's how you do that. I'm so bad at add-ons. When I got LUI, everything is good and clean, looking clean. But my problem is when I enable the minimap, I don't have a square, but rather a Blizzard in-game UI style minimap, and it bugs out, and like doubles the texture. Okay, I'm not even going to go on further with this. This is the same thing, guys. Make sure you remove your add-ons that are previously on your machine before you install mine from your add-ons folder, and then add yours back in if you choose to do that. I can't see my skill bar on the bottom of the screen. I don't know where to set this up at. And I don't get the install button, but I can see the UI itself so far. I can't see my skill bar on the bottom. Skill bar on the bottom screen. Well, that's because your skill bar and all that stuff is up here. Your skills, talents. I'm not sure if he's talking about what you're going to want to do. I think he might be talking about the stance bar. You're going to want to head and go and enable the stance bar. I think that's what he was talking about. I think I did eventually reply to this. So your stance bar, you're going to want to make sure this is enabled. Same thing if you want to turn XP bars on. If you want to check the XP of a certain faction. I believe LUI will track that I believe there's something in LUI that will track that for you as well. But that's how you would change that. Yeah, I think you can change. I don't remember where it is in here, actually. I'd have to go look. But anyways, hopefully that answers the question. The install button, I can see but I can see the UI itself so far. Weird. That tells me that you either have a version of it installed or something. If you could see it, but there was no install for it. Again, could be probably another add-on conflicting. So those are some of the common questions I get with LUI. What to do, how do I set grid up? How do I change grid is another one. I know there's not been a question on that. I could go and find it, but let's see here. So you're going to go down here to grid 2. One of the things the only thing I ever really screw with here is the layout kind of. You could set it to horizontal. You could lock it. I don't ever lock it because I like to move it in and out of my way sometimes. You could change the background. You could change the spacing of the scale of it, how big, how small you want it. And I kind of like to make this border out here a little bit invisible. We're kind of against gray on gray here, so you can't really tell. It's a little bit invisible there. You can kind of see how you can still see the ship here through the gray. Don't worry, this will all fill in. You only see this little tiny gray outline here when your raid group is completely full. But that's what I get for grid 2 quite a bit. And yeah, another thing I do with grid 2, grid 2, by the way, space options. If we ever change it to, let's say, the raid leader is moving people into groups 7, 8, right? They're not on your screen because it defaults. Your default is going to be it's defaulted to by group 25 with pets. You can go down and go ahead and just change this to 40. It will auto change, and then when you're done, or if they move some people back, Vlithria Dreamwalker is a good one at this, to switch stuff back and forth on. So when you get done with that, you can just go ahead and switch it back to 25 with pets, and should be good to go. So that's with grid 2. A lot of the other stuff, how do you change, or how do you turn on the picture here for your profile? Easy enough. This is under LUI. You're going to go to, I believe it's unit frames, yes, and you're going to go to player. You'll be able to portrait, enable, change the values here to what you want and whatnot. You'll notice when I target, there's a space here. This is so I can see combo points a little bit better, because my combo points, if you're using my UI, will actually go across here. So there'll be 5 combo points going across here. You drag this down over top, it kind of covers it up. So I changed that a little bit. I moved this one a little bit further up. But yeah, that's how that's ran. As far as moving the bartender around as well, this is just an easy one, /bar. Make sure you guys are keeping an eye too on all the stuff I'm doing out here in the chat. A lot of the stuff, when you first log in, you'll see usually there's only 2 bars. Well, what the heck's going on, Funky? Well, okay, we'll come down here to bar 3. You're gonna make sure you hit enable. Then you want to go to visibility and make sure it is I believe it's visibility. Yes, and make sure always hide is not clicked on. I think it defaults to bar 4. Always says always hide. So even though you're like, man, I took it off, I enabled it, but what the hell? I still can't see it. Make sure you click off of always hide under the visibility tab, guys. That's pretty much where that comes into play. Now the other one I get a lot of questions about. The last 2 I want to cover here real quick is, let's see if I can pull it up here real quick, is click. How do you configure click? What is click? Click is basically a mouse over macro for you. It allows me to mouse over myself and cast Rejuve with basically the back button on my mouse. The 2 top buttons next to the mouse wheel there. That's what that that's what that does. It allows me. So here's my setup and how everything's set up here. So this is all set up for my mouse. Now you could configure this any way you like. You can have it set to any key. You can bind it to any key whatsoever. You just go ahead and open. All you have to do is come down here to click configuration, and go from there. You just go to whatever spell you want. Let's say you want Moonfire to be, shift right click. You'll just go ahead and hover over it, hit shift and right click, and it should change it to Moonfire. Now it's going to tell me that it's already, the combination is already bound, yes. So let's shift right button, right? So shift right button is my regrowth, as you can tell. I'm casting shift right button. You can't see it, but I am. But that's how you set up click. Very straightforward, easy, simple. Shouldn't be too hard for you guys to set up and understand what's going on with that. So WoW Instant Messenger, I do have a video on this if you guys are interested in checking this out. This is kind of unique. It'll save all your messages. It'll put them in little windows. So let's say if I just pull up some random person here, it'll put each chat window into a little box. And from here you can do some pretty neat stuff. You can ignore the user, add a friend, invite to party, find out where the location is, and it keeps each window separate. So you're not having this huge chat thing with whispers all in one little chat window trying to keep track of 5, 6 different people who are PMing you. This is actually pretty great if you are a raid leader or something of that sort, trying to keep track of all your chats with people. That definitely comes in very, very, very handy. Other than that, guys, I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover in the video. I hope this helped. Again, I cannot stress enough, though, guys, make sure when you're first installing the UI that you disable or remove your current add-ons, as my add-ons, different add-ons will conflict with other add-ons, especially if they're the same kind. And so make sure you remove all your add-ons. Again, you save them, put them in another folder just in case you want to go through and I'd like to change this or add that in. Then feel free to go ahead and copy and move that back into your add-ons folder and tweak it from there. But make sure you install LUI first, and then please feel free to go on from there and how you want to set everything up and make it look and whatnot. So I think that's really it, guys. There's a couple more add-ons I could really cover. Bad Kitty, that's for mostly only feral. Chatter's the chat box. Shouldn't really have to go over that too much. It should come pretty well self-aware. Gladius, you guys know. Scrolling battle text is just all this stuff here that you see, like when I'm entering combat, exiting combat, when I'm healing myself, like right here. Pretty straightforward. It comes pretty well set up. If you want to change, I guess I could go over that real quick before I end this video. So MSBT, it'll kind of throw stuff every which way. I only have the notifications and the outgoing, and I've custom made the notifications to only show me when I'm entering and exiting combat. That way I know exactly when I exit combat, exactly when I enter combat. It is helpful to know when you do that stuff instead of just waiting for your bars. There's certain things to turn red or whatnot, however you tell that you're in combat on your screen. It's nice to have a notification that tells that. So anyways, guys, I hope that answers a lot of the questions that I get about this, and hopefully you enjoyed the video.